Good morning, everybody. Ferney Munoz. I'm originally from Colombia, about 18 years in the U.S., and I'm CWNE 187. Yes. So for my presentation, you all should have received an email with the instructions. Matthew? Okay, you didn't. You're not receiving anything you want. Okay, so one of the questions that we got last night after everybody got their Odroid working, those who got it working, now what? Right? Like, what are we going to do with it now? So I'm going to show you just a couple of things, that we can do with this device that we just built that can be useful. So let me get out of here. Oh, that works. Can you hear me? All right. Yeah, that works. So I have my Odroid over there. The address is, there we go. Thank you. That doesn't count against my time, right? All right. So I'm going to SSH into my device with a SSH root at and then the IP address 192.168.200.12. Oh, great. Let me just join this guy here. Hang on. Come on, live demos. There you go. Diet pipe. And there I am. So all of you should have gotten, connected to your Odroids. One of the things we can, and it's already in the image, thanks to Jerry Oya from Ekahau, is Kismet, and if you just pretty much start and follow the defaults, then it's going to start collecting data. It's going to be a sensor. It's going to say like you don't have an interface defined. In my case, it's WLAN 0. You got to pay attention because sometimes if you have other devices plugged into your Odroid, it may be WLAN 1. Now I am on WLAN 0. And I can just start collecting data. I am not physically connected to my Odroid. It can be on a remote location. You just go plug it in at a client side in one of your buildings. All those who are in charge of universities that have multiple buildings and different campuses, then you can just have them remotely. It is collecting data, and you can do a variety of things with it. But for now, what I'm going to do is I let it collect data for a little bit. I'm just going to quit Kismet. Back here, if I do an ls, which is like there in Windows, it collects, it was doing a packet capture. So what I can do now, I'm going to copy the file name right there, Command C. I'm going to open a new window, and I'm going to use the command secure copy, SCP, and I'm going to connect to the Odroid. And I'm going to tell it that I need to copy. I'm just giving it the path where the TCP dump file is, the PCAP. And I'm going to paste that file here. Let me make this window a little bit bigger. And now I'm going to give it a local location in my computer, which I'm going to put in my home directory on the desktop. And with that, of course, it's going to ask me for the password for the Odroid. Now, if I go to my desktop now, actually, the file's here. Let's see. It's going to be one of those dumps in there. So I can go to Wireshark now, then find that file, that packet capture that I did, which is right there, and open it. And voila, remotely I have a remote sensor. That's one of the uses. Now, for all of those of you who use Mac, there is a gentleman, Adrian Granados en Español. He's from Costa Rica, lives in the US, and he's developed a series of tools. One of them is the Wi-Fi Explorer. In this case, it's running locally, just scanning with my computer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch back to my Odroid. Let me clear this so that... If I do a service, run the command service, and then it is Wi-Fi Explorer, it's also part of the image you have. It's in there. You don't have to do anything other than this. Wi-Fi Explorer -sensor. And I'm going to look for the status of it. And it's running. If it's not running, I can stop and then start. Same thing. Service, Wi-Fi Explorer sensor, start, and then it starts running. So that service is running on my Odroid now. So I come to this is the pro version, the beta version of the Wi-Fi Explorer utility. And as you can see right now, I'm just scanning here locally. If I go to Wi-Fi Explorer preferences, I add the sensor. All I have to do is just tell it the IP address of that sensor. Of course, I already started the service on that sensor, and I'm going to give it the IP address. It's there. Close preferences. I'm still collecting data from my computer here, but now I'm going to select that sensor that I just activated. I don't want to save what I've done. And now, the data I'm seeing on my screen is what the sensor is seeing from its perspective. Isn't that exciting? You can have sensors throughout your buildings. And with this utility that Adrian Granados has put together, you can just switch between sensors and let's see what's happening right there, right now, without having expensive controllers and high-end enterprise equipment. Okay, now let's jump to my favorite. Oh, I had two computers in the tray, huh? See? You're like, why do you have a tray? Well, you can put multiple computers in it. Okay. Probably on the back you're not going to see this, but this is going to be very clear. Nobody joined that SSID on the screen. That's for me. Okay. So throughput testing, we've talked about throughput testing, but we haven't seen it in action. We actually showed a couple of you last night how to do it, but now we're going to see it in action. What I did with these sensors is that I set up at the school district where I work, Canyon School District. Oh, and of course this one seems not to be working. I set up a sensor in a school where I was surveying. I set up other sensor in the district office. Oh, seriously? Okay, hang on one second. Bear with me for a second. And running, let me just close this for a second. I love live demos. Okay, let me just hardwire this. Demo gods didn't help me this morning. And I'm going to have to get on this side.
Don't worry, we can fix it in post.
Okay, so the useful that we find in Ekahau for it will be that I set up that specific sensor somewhere in my network. In my case, I had it in multiple buildings. I have multiple sensors. And then I will start a survey. But before I start, I will make sure that I come to whatever interface you want to do the active survey on, select throughput, and then go to the settings, modify these settings to your needs, and then type the IP address of your sensor. That IP address is the IP address you're going to get in your specific buildings. Like whatever address you got here, that was just here. You plug it in somewhere else, it's set up to automatically get a new IP address in that building. That's the IP address you're going to put of that specific sensor you're going to test against. And then you start running it. And you're going to notice up here where it says active throughput that data is being collected. And that is going to be the throughput results you're going to get on your visibilities when later you're analyzing results and looking at your throughput down here. So like if I were to start collecting data here, we would have those values changing as you go. Some of the data that you collect, of course, later is going to be analyzed. And I know some people are just against throughput testing because what are you really testing? You're testing the condition of a network in time, not in a location. So the values you collect are going to be saved, and then you can analyze later and see what type of throughput you're going to have in certain areas. Let me stop this and show you some of the data that was collected. Oh, perfect. Yeah, Matthew, can you please email me that file? So once you go to the visualization of your data collected, as you zoom in and you switch to throughput, it's going to show you the data you collected in those specific areas. So all those values are going to be what you saw at that point in time while you were collecting data. I guess that's all I have. There are so many more things you can do with this device. You can ask Herman. And you have a question? You want to get a microphone?
What do you see? He doesn't need a microphone. Martin, queue up while we're waiting.
First of all, awesome presentation. Thank you. Just on the throughput thing. Don't disconnect. No. On the throughput, you showed like maybe some of you don't know this. On the throughput view, there's actually two different tooltips. So if you move the mouse on the throughput over any location that doesn't have the route, like in the upper corner, where not on top of the route, it just shows the heat map value. But if you move it somewhere along the route, like move the mouse, right there, and hold it there, and it shows you the exact statistics on that piece of route. Just FYI, guys. Then there was another comment, spectrum analysis and throughput. As you saw maybe on the previous screens, as he started doing throughput and spec and at the same time, be careful when using that, because of course the throughput will skew your spec and results for that specific channel. It will show you huge network load on that specific channel. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, and the other thing is, as you walk around, and if you have the spectrum analyzer as well, you're going to see where all the activities happen. You can see when you roam from one AP to the other. So if I am in 2.4, it's going to show me a spectrum in that area in 2.4, and then I can also go to different areas, select, and then it's going to show me the area where I was connected and the throughput statistics up here.
Great. Thank you, Ferney.
All right.
By the way, your Odroid has ZAP, iPerf 3, iPerf 2. You can run it with NetScout as the endpoint as well. It's just supposed to be a target device. Go ahead and enjoy and have fun playing with it. So on deck, Michael, so if you want to get ready, and then Arjun after him.
One more thing. Since, as you can see, we can have multiple sensors in multiple places, so you don't go back and forth with that one sensor. We have a few kits left there, $200. That includes the whole kit and a USB case. That way you can take home with you some multiple sensors and have in multiple buildings and play with them.